He wore a shirt that read, "Social Media King." And with a smirk, he raised a cup of iced coffee, tilting it above a man who did not flinch. The crowd filmed. The guard stood still. No words, no warning. And somewhere, behind that silence, a little girl whispered, "Daddy, why won't he move?" The man raised his cup again, but this time, closer, as if he wanted the camera to catch it. The crowd grew still, not quiet, just still. Phones hovered in the air, some recording, others frozen mid-frame. A man in red stood beneath it all, tall, motionless, a figure too calm for what was coming. His eyes did not wander. His hands did not shift. He simply remained. The coffee cup lingered in the air, tilting. A droplet fell. Behind him, Mr. Galloway's grip tightened on his cane, just slightly, as if he'd seen this before. And the girl whispered again, "Daddy, why won't he move?" This time, her father didn't answer. He was watching too. His face was carved from silence. Not anger, not pride, just silence. Sergeant Elias Hargrove, 39 years old, 17 of them, in uniform. He'd stood in this square hundreds of times. Same boots, same posture, same gaze fixed beyond the crowd. But today, someone stepped closer. A white shirt, a plastic cup, a grin made for screens. Elias didn't look at him. He never had to. One face wasn't watching. It was performing. But Elias, he remained still. Beneath the brim of his bearskin hat, something shifted. Not much, just a flicker. And then, his hand, resting at his side. But his fingers were tracing something. A shape, a corner, a worn edge. He didn't look at it. He didn't need to. He already knew it was still there. And he wasn't ready to let it go. He wasn't holding a rifle, but something heavier. He'd held it for years, tucked in the palm, behind the trigger finger, not as a weapon, but as a wound. And today, it slipped. The cloth, folded, faded, fell to the stone. Elias looked down, not in panic, not in grief, but as if he'd finally accepted how long he'd carried it. Ryan saw it fall, but didn't stop smiling. He thought it was nothing, just a scrap. The girl didn't speak. Her father didn't breathe. Mr. Galloway stepped forward, picked it up, slowly. Elias didn't move, didn't look back, just stood there, breathing through the weight of something no one else could hold. It wasn't regulation. The cloth, no crest, no rank, just a child's drawing, a stick figure, wearing a red coat, holding a flag, with a smile, and beneath it, written in faint pencil, "For Mr. E, the quiet one." Galloway paused, then turned it gently. No military seal, just dirt and time. Ryan didn't see it. He was too busy laughing at his screen. But Elias knew. This didn't belong in his glove, but he kept it anyway, because some memories don't salute. They whisper. The wind changed, just a little, enough to lift the corner of the drawing in Galloway's hand. Elias blinked, his jaw clenched, not from fear, from memory. Ryan shifted his grip. The cup rattled again, louder this time. Tourists stepped back, phones up, mouths closed. One child coughed. No one moved, except Elias's right hand. It twitched, just once, then stopped. He didn't blink again. His glove curled tighter, around nothing, around the air where a child once breathed. "Years ago," Elias shouted. "Not here, somewhere louder." The boy was 12, trapped beneath smoke and stone. Elias begged for 5 more minutes. Just 5. Command said no, evac only. "No soldier left behind," they said, "unless he's not one of us." That night, Elias watched a child die with a drawing still in his hand. The same drawing now resting with Galloway. The silence today isn't protocol. It's penance. He doesn't flinch. Because last time, he did. And it cost a boy his breath. In Helmand, the sand clung to everything. Helmets, boots, skin, and a child's hands. He wasn't a soldier, but he saluted, because Elias did. That day, the boy drew something, with a dull pencil, on the back of a ration wrapper. For Mr. E. You don't shout like the others. Then the sirens came, and the orders. Elias ran, but not fast enough. What he found hours later was not a body, just a glove, small, melted, and inside it, the drawing. Unburnt, Elias stood, still, while cameras blinked, and the world waited. A man behind the phone shifted his weight, expecting a flinch, a snap, a line crossed. Ryan was smiling again, not because he won, but because he still believed it was a game. But Elias didn't blink. He breathed, once, then lowered his head, just slightly, not to the boy, not to the crowd, but to a memory, still standing in the dust behind his silence. Elias raised his hand, not quickly, not with warning. The motion was slow, exact, precise. He caught the falling cup, not to return it, not to retaliate, but to stop it from touching what should remain sacred. Ryan blinked, then frowned. He didn't understand. He never did. Elias held the cup for a second, looked down at the coffee inside, then set it, gently, on the stone, as if returning something that was never his to hold. Then, he resumed his post, as if nothing had ever happened. The cup stayed, on the stone, unbroken. Tourists stepped around it, careful, almost reverent. No one spoke, not at first. A few deleted their videos, quietly. The girl looked up again. "Daddy, did he win?" Her father didn't answer, not with words. He stood straighter, lowered his phone, and watched. Elias never moved, but something shifted in the way people looked at him. Not as a statue, but as a man who chose not to fall. There are moments when doing nothing is not weakness, it's wisdom. To raise your voice when the world is loud is easy, but to stay still when provoked requires something deeper, a kind of strength that cannot be taught, only earned, through loss, through grief, through a memory you carry and cannot put down. The older we grow, the more we realize that silence is not empty. It holds weight, it holds memory, it holds restraint. Not every battle needs to be fought with fists or fury. Sometimes, the most honorable act is to stand your ground and say nothing, because you've seen what happens when anger wins, and you've chosen never to let it win again. That is dignity.